Guys, top of the morning. Happy Wednesday, May 6th. Hopefully you guys are recovered. If you had some fun yesterday, had some drinks, Cinco de Drinko, you guys are well hydrated and you're ready to crush this beautiful Wednesday. So we had a scare last night. We have all of our bags packed. We have my bag, my wife's bags, baby seat, everything. And the contractions were getting closer and closer and closer. But we did not have the baby. We did not have to go to the hospital. It kind of subsided after some time, but man, we are close, you guys. Like I said, I'm calling it. I'm saying between May 18th and May 15th and May 18th, but it was close last night. And so my wife is currently sleeping on the couch and she's getting her rest because she needs it. And yeah, it was scary. We were close, but not yet, Zen. But my hope is that it's literally any day. My wife just wants to get that baby out. So let's go ahead and get rolling per usual. I'm going to have someone take us out on the field. That person sets the tone, sets the sentiment. And why not go with Correct? Correct is new to Keep It Moving group coaching. I'm going to have you kind of share the tone, share the sentiment. It's like you're bringing the team out of the tunnel. And then also for any of our guests that we have on the line, Correct, what can they expect from Keep It Moving? So I'm going to turn the mic over to you, my friend. I like how you articulate yourself. So let's get this thing rolling. Let's roll.
Thank you. I think I come in Keep It Moving at like a 0 sometimes, and I leave it feeling 100. I think my brain starts to finally start wiring. Maybe it's because I don't like getting up early, but I leave at it with a lot more ideas, creativeness, and truly a drive. I think Elias's energy does play a very big factor. So I think that is amazing. And there's just so many helpful ideas that everyone has, and everyone operates so differently that I just kind of pick and choose and see what sticks to me. So I leave feeling like, okay, if I don't sell a house today, that I'm doing something wrong, right? So the energy is definitely there.
Let's go, my friend. I absolutely love it. I mean, energy is going to carry us a long ways in this business. And so I appreciate your vantage point on that. And if you don't follow Correct and haven't seen all the things that she's doing on social, highly recommend that you give her a follow. I'm looking around the room and I'm just watching all of these great content creators evolve. And then I look back at all the content creators that have evolved over the course of our time together. And it's really, really cool to see, and it's cool to experience, and it's fun to be on that journey. And speaking of, if you haven't seen mine and Brianna's newest video of her cleaning off my glasses and doing a little pat on the head, you might want to watch that video because it will make you smile. It made me smile in the moment when we were doing the video, she had the prompt, like clean my glasses, but then just in her natural state, she just tapped my head. But it turned out to be a funny video. Brianna, wait till you see the other videos of us freezing cold. We did a whole movie skit in the office, but you guys, it's a lot of fun. We're going to continue to do things like that every single month in the offices. Even if you're not part of the team, you guys can be a part of our content days if you want to just, do some fun stuff in the office. But it is Wednesday, and on Wednesday, we always have a high-level conversation about the market, conditions, nuances, patterns, and things that are really driving consumer behavior right now. Well, I've really gone deep in the woods with our new friend, Claude. And what I want to do this morning is I wanted to first off give you a cheat code. So that way, every single week, you guys have an ability to have a download and a brief of what's actually happening in the market. You don't have to go and search anything. You don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to go to any other sites. You don't have to bookmark anything. All you have to do is you have to give Claude this prompt in Cowork. And then what happens is that every single day or Monday, whatever you set it for, it's going to give you a debrief on the market. It's going to pull all the sources and it's going to list them and aggregate all of the information that you need to know about the market. Now, depending on where you are, you might have to adjust this prompt. I pulled it for the Bay Area, Central Valley, and the greater Sacramento market. So what I want us to be able to do is I just want us to be able to compute the information that's happening in the market at a very, very quick pace. What I see that we tend to do is we're trying to pull from these different sources. It gets a little confusing. So I want us to leverage Claude. And once again, yes, I'm going to mention Claude because since diving into it, I have really, really grown a fondness to the platform and how it truly, truly helps to be an assistant to me. Now I have an assistant. I have an executive assistant, but this serves as a corporate structure for me that is vastly different. And I really, really like how it complements what I'm trying to do and how I coach and how I lead. So First and foremost, I'm going to give you guys a prompt. And listen, if you don't have Claude, my question to you is, what are you waiting for? It is cheap. It is $20 every single month. I highly recommend that you get the Pro. Do that. Thank me later and love your life and all things in between. Now, let's go here. I'm going to put this in the chat below. What I want you to do is I want you to take that prompt and adjust it based on where you are in the market. So what I did is I created this, and you're going to put it right into Cowork, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So the chat is, or excuse me, the prompt is in the chat below. If you are driving, send me a text later, or if you happen to be on a long distance bike ride like Oliver is, you might want to just text me later and I'll make sure to send you that prompt. But while we're here to talk about the market. We're here to learn about the market. This is not a motivational session. Now listen, I know that I can be excited. I feel like I live in an excited state, but if you're just coming here and getting a little bit of motivation and then the screen closes and you're not doing shit, I'm not doing my job as a coach, and I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with not doing the highest level of what I do and making sure that I make impact in your life, business, health, and relationships. That is my goal and that is my responsibility. So what I did is I just gave you guys the prompt, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what to do with that prompt. What you're going to do is you're going to go into Cowork. And you're simply going to put that right in here where it says, how can I help you today? Now, what's going to happen is I am actually running this right now. Let me just run it again so you guys can see it. Every single week, I'm going to get a debrief, and it's going to pull from all of these different sources. What's cool about this is now I'll go here. I'll just show you what this actually looks like. It gave me a whole entire brief, and as you can see here, now I have this cool thing that I can look at every single week. It breaks down the market, it breaks down what's happening in the market, it shares with me different things that I can create for social media. I have my hooks in here, and here's the reality of the conversation. It is basically lines everything out for me, which I think is really cool. And then it starts to cite everything that is on these in these articles. And as you can see here, you could just look at this, and let me just open this up just a little bit. Headline of the day, California's median soared 7.1% year over year per the California Association of Realtors, yet 3 of the 4 NorCal regions on this memo are actually flat to down. And so what you look at is you look at all this data. This is pulled directly from, I'll show you, you guys see it in the prompt. I told it to pull from Realtor.com, and I told it to pull from Redfin as well as Zillow and other publications. So what it gives you all of the stats. It gives you obviously a snapshot for short content. It gives you a hook, an anchor, a visual, and it gives you a call to action right here at the bottom. So if you guys are trying to curate information about the market, you're trying to gather information about the market, this is automatically going to run in your Claude, and all you have to do is pick that up or open that up and say, okay, what can I use from that? Or what consumers need to know this information? Or it's just for you, right? Maybe it's not the day where consumer needs to hear or see any of this information. Maybe that information is simply for you, because at the end of the day, those that are educated and understand the market, furthermore, you will understand how to articulate the reality of what's going on. So I'm looking at this as an ability for you guys to advance your skill set and your knowledge about how we are getting information and how we're curating the information. Now, this is something that I'm passionate about. This is something that I'm truly diving into to make sure that we always have an advantage. You see, if you can win on your level of expertise, my friends, you're going to get more and more people that want to do business with you. You're going to close that gap because people are no longer questioning, what does Veronica know? What does Zen know? Right? Zen could be 19 years old and brand new in this business, but when he opens his mouth and starts to talk about the reality of the market, it is spot on. He understands data, the good, the bad, the ugly, and people resonate with that. So first and foremost, that is the prompt that I'm giving you guys to set and to run it in the queue in Cowork every single week, every single day. That way, when you open up your computer and you go to work, like, all right, cool, let's run this really quick. Let me see what's happening in the market. Wonderful. Now I have a daily memo that I can actually reference and also have some hooks and some ideas for creating short content. So I'm going to pause there for a quick second and answer any questions that we have applicable to this part of coaching. Let's go, Philip.
I'm sorry if you already went over this in another coaching session, but how do I get access to co-work? I don't see a button for that, and I apologize if you already went over that.
It's all good, brother. While we're here, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Do this really quick. I want to only spend a little bit of time here. Pull up your Claude and share your screen with us. I want to make sure that we get this done right now.
Okay. 1 second. I'm going to share my screen. Share.
All right, cool. So pull up Claude.
So here it is right here.
All right, cool. So you're on the pro plan right there. So you're going to go into, actually hit your plus sign there.
For new chat?
No, just right
here. Okay, sure.
And then hit that. This right here, you're already in your cowork.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So you're already in cowork. And then if you wanted to change that, you would go up to chats on the far left side there. You can go new chat. Mm-hmm. And then you can go to your, let's go here to go down to chats right below that, two below that. Yep. Right there. Yep. Hit that. Yeah, I for some reason does not have co-work in the browser. Okay. So cool. Here's what you need to do. You need to download this to your desktop.
Okay, which I do have here. I just didn't have it open at the time, but I have it here. Here. So here's my desktop version of it.
All right, cool. Let's share again, bro, and then we're going to move on. I want to make sure that this lands, and then we're going to move on.
Okay. Let me. So
right,
here.
Cool. No, go back. No. Go right there. So right here, as you guys can see, and I don't want this to be confusing for anybody because it shouldn't be. Right here, you see chat. Right here, you see co-work, and then here you see code. All I want you to focus on is that middle one right there.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's where you're going to spend most of your time. Make sense?
Awesome. Yep,
so
I got it.
Make sure that you guys are downloaded to your desktop. But if you have any additional support or need additional support, please reach out to me. But in regards to this prompt, I want to make sure that there's no additional questions. Please raise your hand if you have a question, insight, thoughts, or contribution on the conversation thus far. Anybody have anything? Going once, going twice. All right, cool. Here's what we're going to do next, as I want you guys to do this. What I want you to do is I want you to start analyzing what is happening in your cities. You see, I've told you guys this before, but I want to make sure that this information is fresh. What I want you to do is I want you to look at the different cities that you want to serve. Now, we're all working all throughout Northern California. I want you to pick a particular city. And let's just say we were to pick Hayward, right? It's a central location. I just wanted to do this because it will coincide with the project I did earlier. You see, let's just pull up Hayward. And what I did is I pulled up Hayward, the City of Hayward website. And I pulled up the City of Hayward, and I'm always looking at, okay, like what is going on and what is happening. So what I did is I told it to break down the City of Hayward website. And I wanted to know what are the economic factors that are driving the city's growth, what's happening with new development with inside of Hayward, where are the new businesses, where are who's actually applied for a business license. And so what it did is it pulled out all these cool things about the city of Hayward, and it listed grants, it listed different things that are happening. It gave me a development pipeline, what's coming, who's building, what are the local events, jazz festivals, street parties, Juneteenth, light up the season, all these different things. And so now what it allows you to do is it allows you to have a really, really big, broad scope on what's happening in the city. Well, then you take those things and say, well, what do I want to actually attend? What do I want to go to? What do I want to create content on? Because sometimes we find ourselves at a struggle of what to actually create content on. Well, now you have all the information and you go out in the city and you find the great things that you want to be a part of. And then what you do is you start looking on the city websites and you start to see, okay, what is their social game right now? Right? Seeing as we are the ones that are becoming digital mayors, we are the commentators of all things that are happening in our local cities. Well, what I want to look at is like, how well are they showing up online? Like, I want to go here and I want to look at Hayward Social. Well, if I was just to look at Hayward Social and I was to look at their, let's say, Instagram, for example, and by the way, you guys can do this for any city. Well, what you can see is this shit is weak. And love me some Hayward, love my people from Hayward, but this is weak, right? When I think about what somebody like H-Bomb could do, or Gary Archer, or Corette, or Alexis, or Veronica, or David, or whatever, what I find is that you guys can give such a great voice to these city websites. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to share your posts or collaborate with you, but you might as well shoot your shot, right? If your goal is to become insulated in the city, you want to serve at the highest level, you want to be known as the Hayward Queen, the Hayward King, the Oakland King, the whatever King, Queen, well, then it's important that you get truly insulated on what's happening in the area. You think about events that you can talk about, events that you can post about, local businesses. How do you collaborate with them? How do you share? How do you build? So now you're getting new people following you, looking at you, and building your ecosystem. So when they actually see something that you create about your new listing, your new tour, whatever it is real estate related, now they're in your ecosystem. You see, you start to become really, really a part of the community. You say you want to serve the community that you live in or that you want to really, really, truly be a part of. Are you serving them? Are you providing all the strangers an opportunity to learn about all these great things? The street festivals, when's the farmers market setting up? Who just filed for a business license? What is the economic development over the course of the next 5 years? Who is building? Why are they building? Are they building up? Are they building wide? These are just all great things to talk about when it comes to content and really, really building. Also, those are things that can go into your newsletter. Hey guys, did you know? Here's some cool things that you need to know about Hayward that are happening in the next couple months. This development project's happening. Here's a list of all the activities. Here's a list of things that are happening for farmers market. You guys, it elevates you, because what happens is our real estate shit gets really, really boring, right? And you find yourself reaching for new thoughts and new ideas, and sometimes it just feels fucking stale. So I want to encourage you guys to go into these websites, look at that, put it into Claude and say, hey, break this down. Economic development, new businesses, new happenings, fun things to do, right? And say, how can I curate this into a message for social media? Does that make sense, you guys? I want to pause for a second because I want your contributions on this. I want your thoughts, I want your insights, and I want your contributions on this. So get involved in the conversation. I'd love to have some dialogue with you and just want to know where your head's at on this vein. So anybody have a thought? If not, and use the reaction button down below and throw your hand up so I don't miss you. I did see Princess. What's up, my friend?
Good morning, everybody. I like this because it's starting to turn the wheels on different approaches. This was actually part of my reclaim pivot moment for me, coming back into this space again. I didn't want to throw out that cookie cutter, I don't want to call it cookie cutter real estate content, but exploring more avenues, making my page more of who I am, what I like to do, more of the local events that's going on, things like that. And I think that's what social media is for, to connect with us, to understand us. Yes, we do real estate, but we are so much more than real estate. You know, we do more than that. And I think being able to, this is just an avenue for us to be able to say, okay, well, these local events are going on. If I like dogs, there's dogs events going on. I can go here. You know, and so doing this just makes it a lot easier and allowing us to, step into those different avenues that we want to showcase, not just real estate. And I really like that. So.
Yeah, Princess. God, I love this. And think about this. When they're doing ribbon cuttings for new businesses, when they're having an economic planning conversation, when they're doing a environmental conversation, right? Like, how does the building of said building impact our environment? And what are the people talking about? Well, shit, as a realtor, shouldn't we be at things like that? Shouldn't we raise our hands? Shouldn't we get involved? Hey guys, my name's Elias, Astuto. I'm with eXp Realty. I had some thoughts on that, some contributions. Like, get out there and become a digital mayor and a commentator of all things. And the reason why I was inspired by this, and I've been up early working on this project, you guys, is that I was working with Carmen Hernandez. You guys might know her, may or may not know her, but she's been known as so I saw it here. In her bio, Hayward's #1 real estate team. She wants to be the Hayward Queen. Well, she just posted this video. What Hayward schools did you go to? And comment. So this had 595 comments on it and 2,038 likes on this. Now she does pretty good on her other content, but this is a viral content. And so I was like, more Hayward content. You need more Hayward content because people are responding to that. And so it made me think about you guys and like, how do we start to aggregate some of this messaging and really going in and being a part and participating on a high level? But I want to pause for a quick second, you guys. 52 people on a Wednesday. That's what this is all about, you guys. I just want to say thank you guys for being here, for showing up. The numbers continue to go up. 52 people on a Wednesday. Princess, I appreciate your contribution. Let's go to Christina. Kia, you'll be on deck, and I'll get to all the other hands. Let's roll, Christina.
Yeah, this totally works. One thing I've been doing, and I do it for like New Year's and sometimes holidays, it's perfect for Mother's Day if you guys are going to go out there. Go to a local restaurant, a cafe, brunch spot, highlight them, take a bunch of video of wherever you're at, and just add as a collaborator on Instagram their handle. Many times, 9 times out of 10, these restaurants, these spots are going to approve it. And you can even send them a message. Hey, I'm a local realtor. I'm going to be highlighting your spot. I'm going to add you as a collaborator. That has been some of my biggest reels that get so many views, but also followers. And so going out there just adds more exposure. It changes your algorithm because one thing too, a lot of us are either following each other. Like for myself as a lender, I follow a lot of realtors, but then I have friends and my friends will be like, I don't see your content. Like, that's so weird. And then they go to my page and they're like, oh my God, I missed all of your stuff. So it mixes that up. And then also I get new follows from people who follow that restaurant. So you're changing up the algorithm. So I highly recommend. I mean, this weekend is perfect. Mother's Day or wherever you're going to be at, just add them as a collaborator and you guys will see it really change.
Man, I so appreciate that. Did you get some new art or are you just in a new location?
I moved my desk around.
Okay. It looks good. It looks good, my friend. I was actually just thinking about this because my hope is that you all have plans for Mother's Day. Fellas, if you do not have plans, go to parkwinners.com and schedule a flower picking session for your mom and for your lady. I just did that, but we're going to go out to this cool place in Winters and you get to pick your own flowers or you can do a dry bouquet. And I was just thinking about that. I was like, shit, that serves some really good content. They have really, aesthetically pleasing IG posts. And so I'm just thinking about that right now, Christina. And by the way, you guys, it's $35 for a bouquet. You get a window of 2 hours. They still have openings on Sunday. If you haven't planned anything, fellas, hint, hint. Kia, over to you, my friend. What do you have for us? Thoughts, contributions, insight of the conversation.
So I have to get used to Claude because right now, Claude and I are not friends.
Okay.
We have to figure this out. But I second the sentiment that Christina said. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I have been leveraging OPA, other people's audience, especially on the Central Coast, since I'm there half of the time. And what I find that's been very kind of putting me out there, and I'm meeting a lot of people on the coast as well. I say the first things. It's the same exact thing the first time. I'm Kia B, local Bay Area realtor, project designer, living part-time on the Central Coast, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like an intro. And I've been getting all these collaborations with these businesses, and I go to Pismo, Avila. I went to Los Olivos the other night with my husband. So it's just I'm trying to just slowly make my moves into the Central Coast. But I have to say that with Claude, I don't know. I like it. I like the details. I like the information, but I have to make it me because my folks see I have realtor friends, I have lender friends, everybody in the industry. But even my normal friends that I know are like, dude, all your stuff tells everybody who the hell you are. They know who the fuck they're dealing with, right? So I gotta just train Claude a little bit, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, my friend, I would create what I would do is I would create a carousel in your voice. You give it the exact direction that you want it to head. And I promise you, if you do that and you go through a couple iterations, you're going to get a really, really cool carousel. And then you'll start to continue to build off that. Like I have two brands that are very important to me, Keep It Moving and Fast Real Estate. Those brands are of the utmost importance to me. So I'm not going to put something out that doesn't coincide and align with those two brands. So I hear you, Kia, and it's just a matter of time and then teaching and teaching and teaching. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow. But then more importantly, forget about like amplification or visualization of your brand and thoughts. Use it as a true companion and as a assistant, right? Because if you don't have an assistant now, then you are the assistant. So if anything, you use it as a true assistant to help you build your business model and your business structure, right? Business model, business structure.
I will say I did use it for like comps and stuff, which is awesome. That part. Like I said, it's like a stuffy old man to me right now, Claude.
Okay. Okay. Well, we need to spice him up.
Yeah, I do.
Well, my friend, I always appreciate your voice and your contribution. Let's go to Lisa. Marcus, you'll be on deck. Then Jeff, then Gary Archer. What do we got for us, Lisa?
Good morning. I love this. Oh, okay, so real quick, did you put the prompt in for co-work and I missed it?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Can you? I'm sorry. I was a few minutes late. If you could put that down there again. I do want to grab that.
Ashley put it in the second time too, but let me.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. Lisa.
Thank you. Kia, I don't know what's going on with you, girly, but I am in love with Claude. Like in love more than chat. So I feel like all the ideas I've had where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this idea of things that I want to put together, but it's going to take me, days, weeks to gather and research everything. And I have been able to put together stuff that I'm loving, and I'm getting better engagement than I did before. So awesome. It's not like going viral, but I do notice that like the amount of views and engagement is way higher than the typical post. So beautiful. I'm loving it.
Well, I appreciate your contribution, Lisa. Thank you. Marcus, you're up, big dog. What's your thoughts, contributions on the conversation? Let's roll.
Yeah, I think like last night, that was something I was struggling with, was trying to come up with like some new content ideas, because I think like the things that I started to post were starting to get still a little boring. So just wanted to find something a little bit more fun and interactive. So getting into that like lifestyle of the community is just that missing piece, and it's an important piece. And so I think going onto the city's websites, and it was a great idea collaborating with some of the business to leverage other people's audiences is definitely good ideas, and something that I'm implement.
So Marcus, there's a city that you would truly want to just, be excited. Right. And what city is it?
Yeah. So I start to dial this, forcing me to dial down on that. And then, so, I'm very keen with the Oakland Bay area. Even though I live in Berkeley, and I've been suggested to really attack that market, I resonate very closely with Oakland. So I'm finding myself just to start to learn more and dive into the micro cities within Oakland.
I would do Berkeley and Oakland. I would even do Berkeley, Oakland, and Emeryville personally, bro. Like there's just so many things, and especially as the weather starts to warm up, there is so many great things that are happening. And then when you think about the food scene, right? Like I'm a foodie myself, but the food scene in Berkeley and Oakland, I mean, it's incredible, right? So I just think that there's so many great things to talk about. And sometimes our content has nothing to do about real estate, but it has everything to do with us building our brand. And then once in our ecosystem, oh, wow, he's also a realtor and he does this. So Marcus, my friend, lean in, bro. You're going to find so many great opportunities in your voice. And we've said it before, the bass in your voice gets people want to lean in. So man, love that you're thinking about this and just take a couple things and execute. Really good stuff. Marcus, Jeff, you're up, then Gary, and then Michelle.
Hey, I just, couple things. I find it easier to post on my stories at first, before a reel. It seems like a reel is more polished. You worry about it more. Whereas if you just go, not even live, but if you can go live on your stories, it's just easier to flow and talk about. And I know Kenny at that event meeting we had last week was talking that one of the aspects of social media that is picking up steam or trending is more of that, I don't know what they called it, not talking head, but that just kind of impromptu, face to camera kind of situation. So I find that a little bit easier with the stories, which leads me into more of the reels, but just all over. I mean, great ideas from Claude and, the collaboration with local businesses. So.
Yeah, you guys, just literally, I'm going to challenge you today to go to, whether it's Walnut Creek, whether it's Danville, whether it's Concord, whether it's Oakland, El Cerrito, whatever it is. Every city has its own website. And then you leverage Claude to say, okay, kind of dissect this for me. Economic impact, development, new restaurants, new businesses, and then pick apart the things that you say, you know what? I create some really cool content. I'm going to go get in my car. I'm going to be out at showings tomorrow. I'm going to stop by there. So you guys, if you do a little bit of intentional thinking around it, you guys are going to find really cool things to talk about and things that actually light you up, that you want to talk about, that are fun, that are exciting, that you could hear it in your voice. When somebody gets on the camera and they start speaking about things that they're excited about, they're passionate about, you can feel that. And there's a contagiousness around that passion. So, doing this and going down that rabbit hole, you'll find things that truly excite you and light up your soul. Let's go GA, and then we'll go Michelle Figueroa.
Man, I'm just going to go ahead and echo what a lot of people have been saying. Like, Elias, great ideas to go to the city website. You could do the same thing with the Alameda County website, the California State website. You made a great point. You said, let's look at their socials. One thing that they do not know how to do is do socials, right? So because they just don't. So if you're in the market and you're going to do some socials, yes, you do some cool stuff, right? But you see what's important to the city. Look what's important to the city. Create some content for them. And now they're going to go ahead and push that out even further. But something I wanted to add is when we all got on these apps, it was called social media, and they still trick you into say it's social media. We don't get on there to talk to our friends no more. Instagram, TikTok, it's now changed to interest media. So you have to be interesting. Speak about things interesting, not the same topic. Like you said, be who you are and everything goes forward. Everyone feels like they're growing really hard. This Claude is stepping up, making people feel the responsibility to step up, man. And I'm excited. And thank you, Elias.
I appreciate you, my friend. Let's go to Michelle. Michelle, thoughts, contributions, and insight on the conversation. Then we're going to shift gears and talk directly about the market. Let's go, Michelle.
I just have to say I'm super obsessed with Claude. So since our conversation Friday, I have been working with Claude nonstop. I used to fight a lot with ChatGPT because I felt like it just didn't get my ideas. And so I was on Claude again last night for, I think, over an hour planning out content for the month of May. And we did go back and forth a little bit because I felt like some of it was not really authentic to what I want. But it did end up pinpointing what I want to put out. And so anyway, it gave me some ideas to collaborate with local vendors and spots here. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And so since I want to highlight both spots in the Bay Area and here, it gave me the idea to do comparisons between both, between my hometown and here in Stockton where I live, which I'm pretty passionate about. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And another cool thing that I figured out, I don't know if anybody uses Notion, but you can have Claude put things directly into Notion. So if you use Notion to schedule content or the Notion calendar too, it'll add things directly. So.
Yeah, God, I absolutely love this. You guys, what I want you to do is I want you to also, as you're thinking about really building your brand and building your voice, I want you to find things. And if you find something that you feel it's you can repurpose this and put it into a reel, into a carousel, then do so. I'll give you an example. I saw this thing from a doctor, and this doctor's name is, what's the doctor's name? I think it's Constantine. Yeah. So Dr. Constantine. So it's Nancy is her first name. Bispicos, Constantine. So anyways, I thought her stuff is very, very, intelligent, really good stuff. And I saw this post the other day about energy. And I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. So I just literally took that screenshot and turned it into a carousel to my audience, but I gave her all the credit in the world and I tagged her in it. And so if you see something and you want to repurpose it, then do that. If something sparks your interest, let me go into Claude and let's see if I can repurpose this and create something. Or if you have an assistant that does marketing for you, have them create that for you guys. So there's many ways to to go about it. But the idea is like, I just want to keep you guys fresh and I want to keep you guys relevant in the market and not always speaking about just our real estate stuff. So let's talk about the market. So I created this and I'm going to share this document because we've been doing this for a while, but I want to make sure that you just have something that you can print out. I've just kind of revamped the one that we had in the past. So explaining the reality of the real estate market, a 3-step framework for cutting through noise, leading with data, and turning conversations into commitments. So if you're working with a consumer, I want you to slow down. This is particularly for a lot of the newer agents that are trying to figure out, how do I talk about the market? You experienced agents probably have a really good base of how you talk about the market, but here's how you use this worksheet. Most clients walk into a real estate conversation carrying headlines, hearsay, and screenshots from someone's cousin, someone's uncle, someone's auntie. Your job is to not argue the noise, it's to replace it. Use this worksheet before every listing appointment, buyer consultation, or open house follow-up. Pull live data, fill in the blanks, and run the script. Here's the coaching principle. Don't debate the rumor, out data the rumor. When you lead with numbers, you stop selling and start guiding. The conversation moves, and so does the deal. You see, what I've done here is I've really kind of broken it down into a couple different phases. Step 1 is meet the clients where they are. Before you teach, we have to listen. We have to actively listen to what the consumers are wanting, needing, and expecting throughout this process. Also, are their fears real, or is it something that influenced their behavior? Then you have an opportunity to influence them with new behavior. Open the curiosity, not correction. Find out what the story they've been told and where they got it, so you know exactly which narrative to dismantle. I'm curious, what have you heard about what's occurring in our local market? What type of market do you think we're in? And I was wondering, where did you get that information? And I want you guys to take notes. I want you to understand where they're getting their information. Was it their friend that sold houses in Michigan? Was it their past realtor? Was it their aunt? Was it CNN? Wherever it is. Don't correct them. Nod, listen, write down. People don't change their minds because you prove them wrong. They change their mind because you made them feel heard first. I really, really want you to resonate with that last line there. They change their minds because you made them feel heard first. Consumers want to know that you have their best interests, and sometimes we just need to slow it all down. Educate and inform. Now, this is when you take the wheel. The blanks below aren't suggestions, they are your scripts. So fill them out with current numbers from your MLS, from NAR, from CAR, your local board, and deliver them like the professional you are. You've heard me say this over and over and over again, but once again, you now have a worksheet. Let's take a moment to quickly share with you the reality of what's actually occurring in the real estate market today. And I want you guys to be able to know your stats. Well, you're probably going to need to do some work. If you know a consumer is looking in Berkeley, you better come to that call prepared. If you're going on a listing appointment, you better have done your homework. You better look at all the nuances, patterns, and conditions. So it's going to ask you, and it's going to cause you to go in and dive into some of the data. Home sales year over year, what buyers are paying. Are they paying at list price, under list price, over list price? And what is that actual percentage? Average days on the market, lowest days on the market, so on and so forth. And then take a couple cities. For Marcus's case, he can choose Oakland, Berkeley, Emeryville. And what is the year over year growth? And have we seen any, or has there been a stabilization, or have prices lowered in those cities? Now, provide the data so it does not sound like your opinion. Don't soften it. Don't hedge it. Read the numbers like a news anchor reads the weather with calm authority, then pause and let it land. Now, you're also going to have a section here that really helps the consumer. Like, what is driving behavior? Is it anthropic? Is it these new people moving in? Is it new development? What is happening? People going back to work in San Francisco, finally driving back up the condo market. Stats without context are just noise. This is where you connect the dots, rates, demand, demographics, so the client understands not only what is happening, but why it's happening and what it means for them. So you go through this exercise to help you really put your thoughts into a place where it becomes conversational and you can deliver the data at a very, very high level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this document with you. I'm going to unrestrict it. You guys can have this. Use this as a template as you're having conversations with consumers. I'll doctor this up. I made this morning, but I want you guys to at least have a baseline of how you're going to communicate and how you're going to discuss the market. So First and foremost, any questions on that vein, then I'm going to turn it over to Ashley and I'm going to turn it over to Christina and get any of our lender partners to share any information about the market. But does anybody have any questions, thoughts, dialogue on that section of coaching? Feel free to share. You're welcome, Nikki. Anybody have anything that they want to share, contribute? All right, so let's just do a quick temperature check before we go on. TT, give me a quick thought, quick contribution based on the conversation overall thus far.
Oh, I love it. I love the whole conversation. I agree. Digging into your city is huge. I'm a Bay Area girl, so I'm all over the Bay Area, and I need to step it up and create more content with what I'm doing because I'm not showing what I'm doing every day. So I agree.
Beautiful. Well, I love it, my friend. And Veronica, you are a new guest of ours. Give me one key thought, one key takeaway from our time together so far, Veronica. And she's in the city. Welcome, Veronica. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I definitely, I use ChatGPT a lot. Like I'm all about ChatGPT, so I haven't really explored Claude. So I'll definitely have to do that, get to know it more and how to use it. So I think it's all really good information.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you being here, my friend. Let's go over to Ashley. Ashley, obviously there's been some changes in the market in the last couple of weeks, but what we're seeing year over year that the buyer applications are up. And I just want to kind of hear from your vantage point, some things that you're seeing, and would love to hear from you. Quick update from your end, my friend.
Awesome. Good morning. So in typical Bay Area fashion, it is a mixed bag. It is depending on where you're shopping. We are definitely getting a lot of applications. It's the spring market and we're for sure feeling it, which is great. Most of, I think I have 8 to 10 in contract right now. Most of them have seller credits. And I will tell you though, Central Bay Area is hot, like hot. Demian had one. It was $3 million deal, and it went in, and the seller said, "This is yours if you do A, B, and C," which was very small little adjustments. And the buyer thought for 2 hours, and they accepted another offer, non-contingent, and ours was non-contingent too. So it really goes to show you exactly what you're teaching. The data is so important to know the neighborhoods that you're shopping in, because in one area, you have to know the neighborhood to know I can get a $20,000 seller credit in this area. And then in another complete different area, I better not think for 2 hours or I'm going to lose this deal. And if you don't know the data, you're not going to represent your clients to the best of your ability. And another thing, we are seeing potentially another peace deal, which positively influenced interest rates today. So if you are shopping with a client, today's a great day to get into contract.
I love this. Marcus, you had a question, big dog. Let's go to you really quick. And then Jose, feel free to take yourself off of mute, ask your question as well. Let's go, Marcus.
Yeah, I was just wondering if I can connect with you a little bit later to see, how people are going about these non-contingent offers. I've been hearing that a lot more lately, and then I just want to discover that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry, Ashley. There has to be some really, really important factors that are covered. First off, when you look at all the inspection reports, are they okay with everything that was on the reports? If there is no reports, are they okay with whatever's going to happen on that, right? That's contingency 1. Contingency 2, do they care about the appraisal? And if they care about the appraisal, meaning they don't have any money to cover that shortfall, the house is listed at 900,000. You guys, right over, do you have the money to cover? And if you don't, then keep that contingency in place. But if the consumer says, I don't really care what the house appraises at, we'll cover a shortfall. That there's a 30,000, 40,000, we're going to liquidate our Robinhood account. We're going to go all in. We want that street. We want that neighborhood. Cool. Then the comps have to comp, right? The math has to math. Either we have recent sales that will justify us removing an appraisal contingency, and we've spoke with the listing agents that have things in contract. We can get a good sense of where it's at. All right, cool. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to remove that. Or the consumer says, I don't care. I don't care. I'm willing to go all in. And then on the loan side of it, right? If their loan is fully underwritten and the lender can truly vet that person, and there's nothing that's going to come up and that loan officer can vet them, then we can remove that. But that is a very, very slippery slope. We have to make sure that we are fully, or the consumer is fully protected, because if not, then that is a situation we do not want to be in. It has to be competitive. It has to make sense. They have to have money to cover if they're removing. They have to say, I'm okay with all of the damage, if any. If there's not, are you okay with what's potentially going to happen when we run reports? The consumer has to be okay with it. Your responsibility is to provide them all of the material facts and then say, we are in a competitive situation. We're up against the wall. They have two non-contingent offers. What would you like to do, consumer? Right? So we gather all the facts. We present all those facts to our consumer. We educate them, and then we allow them to make the best informed decision based on the data and based on the information that we gather. Does that make sense, Marcus?
Yes, that answers a lot of questions. Thank you so much for that.
All right, my friend, let's go Dee Bledsoe, and then we'll go over to Christine Nunes if she is still here. If not, we'll go over to Jeff, my man. Let's go, Dee.
Yeah, just wanted to echo on what Ashley said. I actually, for this client, what Ashley was telling me, I need to make content on this experience, which I'm going to the office to do today. So that connects to what we're talking about here. But also with the offer that I submitted yesterday, it was our second offer. The first one I told you guys about Monday or last week. We got outbid by $400,000, I believe, and the house went for $1 million over asking. This house yesterday, we were within $100,000. We came in with a loan contingency just because I like to leave a contingency for any kind of protection if possible to do that. They wanted me to remove it, wanted my client to remove it from the offer and come up $100,000 and the house would have been theirs. By the time my client responded to me, they already accepted the other offer. They were fine with removing that contingency and coming up 100,000, 3.2, and we would have been in contract. While we're on the call right now, I just submitted another offer for the same client, 2.85, a home on the Berkeley-Oakland border, but it's the same listing agent from the house that we lost out on yesterday. And so she was a little pretentious and like, oh, I've never done a deal with you. Are you in the area? And gave me all this shit. And I kept my composure. I could have got snippy with her back, but my client sent me a house that this lady also listed hours later and was like, yeah, we want to go in on this one, to me. And so all that to say, our market offers opportunities to talk about these things and make stories about them, because I also had a client close last week in Oakland, and we definitely couldn't have removed our contingencies before 20 days into escrow. She came in with like $20,000, and there was no way that this same scenario could have played out, and it's in the very same city. We got a $30,000 credit on that house. Like, it's just a tale of how different neighborhoods in Oakland are. But again, all noteworthy for content and just telling the story so other clients can experience what we do through those stories. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, Dee, really, really appreciate this. And when you start selling the higher price point homes, you guys, you have to realize that a lot of those determining factors are status driven, right? Like, I want to live in that house. I want to purchase that house. I'm going to go well in over asking price. And so if somebody's purchasing a $3 million home, it's not their last $3 million. And so you get into this really, really competitive situation, and you'll find that. And I'm hearing that across the board in that higher end and that luxury market.
Last piece on that. I'm sorry. Last piece, just to respond to the last question about non-contingent. This client that is removing their contingencies, they have $3 million in the bank that they could technically buy the house cash with, and so they're taking out a loan for 60% of it, but that's why they're comfortable, is because they have this surplus of cash. When they don't have it, it's a little less likely and sensical to do so. And then my last thing I want to touch on, also don't turn things down. I got a $40,000 lot of land in the contract the other day that's going to close tomorrow or Friday. It's a cash deal, but like 2 years ago, I would have ignored this client and been like, yeah, shit, you're not going to buy this lot of land. It was listed for $100,000. We put in a $40,000 offer and got it accepted, and we'll close in a couple of days. So don't turn down anything.
Man, I absolutely love this. And Mark, it's really good that you're right. Just it really validated what I just said, is that it's not their last $3 million. But in some cases, in order for someone to go non-contingent, they have to have the funds to cover, or the data tells us that that house will appraise at that amount. Why? Because you looked at the comps, you looked at what is pending, you got a good understanding from the listing agent of where they're at or what range they're in, and you'd feel comfortable actually having that conversation. So multiple factors, but you got to do all your homework. You got to present the facts and help them, and guide them. So good stuff, Damian. Let's go over to Jeff. Jeff, any thoughts, contributions, and insights on the market from your seat, my man?
Yeah. Well, as we've talked about, markets are hyper local. So, knowing your market, and that's what's great about everybody on this call and our jobs is I love Claude. I love AI. But it's going to be difficult to replace all of us on this call because markets move so fast and are so hyper local that, you can't necessarily put it into Claude what, the information that Damian knows and the rest of us. So incredible there. And then in terms of the markets, so much of it's trading on the Middle East, peace negotiations, Strait of Hormuz, oil prices just move so dynamically. We did have ADP jobs report today, which came in a little bit above expectations. We have big jobs report on Friday, BLS jobs report coming out, which is usually a big market mover. So, just watch those kind of reports that come out, and kind of what the Fed says about where rates are going. But Ashley was right. Rates are trending down today, but we know this shit can turn on a dime. So just watch those markets and lean on your lending partners.
Beautiful. Listen, you guys, let's pause there. Really good stuff. Thank you guys for being very, very in tune with the conversation today. I'm going to go around the room, get a couple key thoughts, key takeaways from our time together today. I'll go Melody, rapid fire, my friend. One key thought, one key takeaway from our time. Then we'll go to Adrian. And then if I have time, we'll go to one last contribution. Melody, one key thought, one key takeaway from our time together today. Let's roll.
Yeah, I was Kia last week. Like, I was literally saying that I didn't ever use Claude and that we weren't friends. Well, I ended up reaching out to Claude, and turns out we've become really good friends. And thanks to Elias for downloading us with all the prompts and all of the extensions and all the things that we need to do in order to set it up right away, hit the ground running with it. I've actually created a running worksheet for myself in Google Docs. And every single time I'm on a call like this with Elias or inside Fast Forward Movement or any other call, and I get an idea for a prompt, I am throwing these prompts into a running Google document so that I can always have a library of prompts to go back to whenever I need to use it. And I found that that's really helpful because a lot of times we sit on these Zoom calls and people are spitting some prompt out there, but then you don't have a way of saving it, and you're just kind of all over the place and not organized. And then of course, when you need it to create a market update, you're like, oh shit, what was that prompt that Elias told us that we need to use last week on group coaching? So it's been really helpful for me, and I suggest that you guys just create that too. It took me literally 5 seconds. And that way you have an arsenal of all of these amazing prompts, and you can use them whenever you want, and you don't have to sit there and rely on your memory. So That was my key takeaway.
Love it, Mel. I also, when you guys are looking and you're scrolling and you're spending time on Instagram, literally just save all of these things, you guys, and come back to that, because I consume a lot of content, but I also do a lot of research on content to say, how can I apply this in my coaching world? And so really smart, Mel. And I'm always downloading music, and I'm downloading Claude stuff, and I'm saving things, quotes and psychology, all these things, so I can use it in coaching. So I appreciate that, Mel. Let's get one last final contribution. Adrian, that's you, my friend. Did I see your boyfriend pop on screen for a second?
Yes.
All right, you tell him we said hello and top of the morning to him. But Adrian, okay. One key thought, one key takeaway from our time together today, and I see all your content as well, my friend. Way to hit the ground running with content. But what do you got for us?
Hello, good morning. I think my one big key takeaway was just use Claude. I didn't know that there was a scheduled option. So where you just regularly get updates on information, because I haven't been really using Claude for market information, just I guess stats. So I want to start using that more for carousels. And yeah.
Wonderful, Adrian. I appreciate it. Last thought, you guys, last contribution. If you've never done hot Pilates, you got to be crazy. Do it. I did it the other day. It was the hardest workout I've ever done in my life, and I've been working out for years. I had never sweat so much in my life. I thought I was going to die. For all the people on the screen that have done any type of Pilates, hot or not hot, bless your souls. That is an incredible thing. I joined Hotworks. Hotworks. So if you have a little bit of time, but you want to get a high impact workout in, go to Hotworks. Love your life. Thank me later, you guys. Wonderful contributions today. I'm always looking at ways to elevate, to truly, truly bring you guys something that would be fresh and something that's new. Also a reminder of all the great things that we can do in this game. So listen, you guys, thank you for all of your contributions. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and make today a day that truly matters. Peace and love, my friends.